హరే కృష్ణ సంయుక్త మాధవ్.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
అందరూ అంతా ఓకేనా మాధవి, బాగున్నారా?
ఎస్ ప్రభుజీ.
Thank you for joining. In another couple of minutes, let us begin.
ఓకే ప్రభుజీ.
भक्तेऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुता पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सात्वजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदां सगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Yeah, we'll start. Okay. Yeah. Thank you again for joining, devotees, for your time. So whatever we spend this time, it is pleasing a lot to the Srila Prabhupada, because he put his blood, his sweat on his books to help us to understand the purpose of life and practice in that way. Thank you very much again, Vinala Mataji, Samyukta Mataji, Likita Mataji, Swapna Mataji, Dandavad Pranams. Let us begin with Mangalacharana prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vranda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangam langāyate girim yatkripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dīnatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Om Pavitra Pavitro Va Sarvavastam Gatopi Va Yasmaret Pandare Kaksham Sabhyabhyantaram Suche. Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. It's been long time, Likita Mataji. Bhavanara, Hare Krishna Mataji.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ బాగున్నాం ప్రభుజీ మీరు బాగున్నారు ప్రభుజీ
Yeah. హైదరాబాద్ ఉన్నారా మీ సిస్టర్ దగ్గర లక్ష్మీ మాతయ్య దగ్గర ఎక్కడ
లేదు అనంతపురం
ఓకే
ప్రభుజీ
అంత ఓకే కదా మాతయ్య
ఎస్ ఎస్ ప్రభుజీ ఫైన్
థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ జాయినింగ్ మాతయ్య yes let us read. So we are reading another book. So far we have read Srila Prabhupada small books. Anybody remember how many books we read? Yeah, can any Samyukta Mataji, you are a regular. Have you remembered anything? I mean, what we have read so far?
Books names are Prabhuji?
Names, yeah, book names. Can you able to recollect? Just 1 minute. Think about it. It's okay. Our memories are very short.
Life comes from life, Prabhu. Then perfect questions and perfect answers we read.
Yeah.
Then
Correct.
Yeah. A journey to other planets. We read.
Very nice.
Easy journey to other planets.
Mataji?
Easy journey to other planets. Ade Prabhuji Mataji చెప్పింది.
Yes, life comes from life. The perfect questions and answers. Easy journey to other planets. Next what? We have completed another book also. Another 2 books. Beyond Birth and Death. The Path of Perfection.
Yes, the path of.
Let me show you this. In our previous recording. So let me show you. Okay. So if you look at this, Actually, this is a video I just created. Yeah, life comes from life. The perfect questions and perfect answers. It's okay. We don't remember single word, that's fine. But we spend good time with those books. Something we went inside. Then that is good. That auspiciousness, the reading Srila Prabhupada books means we are reading Krishna's instructions. We are understanding Krishna's instructions. Right? Easy journey to other planets. And the other books are Beyond Birth and Death and the Path of Perfection. Now we are reading this book, The Perfection of Yoga. Okay, so just to remind this, let us read. Thank you again. Yes. Yes.
అదే ప్రభుజీ ప్రాబ్లం, ఏది గుర్తుండట్లేదు ప్రభుజీ. ఐఎమ్ ట్రైయింగ్ బట్
మీ ఒక్కదారులకి ప్రాబ్లం కాదు మొత్తం, ఈవెన్ దో ప్రాక్టీసింగ్ సిన్స్ మెనీ ఇయర్స్. సో రెగ్యులర్గా చదవాలి కొంచెం. వీ హ్యావ్ టు బి ఆల్వేస్ ఇన్ అసోసియేషన్, రీడ్ చేస్తా ఉండాలి. అది గుర్తుండదు. ఇట్స్ ఆల్రెడీ డిఫైన్డ్ ఇన్ ద భాగవతం. మందబుద్ధి అని ఆల్రెడీ భాగవతంలో డిఫైన్ చేసింది. మందబుద్ధి అంటే మనకు గుర్తుండే, యాక్చువల్గా మెమొరీ, షార్ట్ మెమొరీ. 3 days క్రితం ఏం తిన్నామో, ఏ టైంకి ఏం తిన్నామో కూడా గుర్తుండదు మనకు. అసలు ఏం అనుకున్నామో కూడా గుర్తుండదు అది. రైట్? ఫర్గెట్ఫుల్నెస్. దట్స్ వేర్ రెగ్యులర్ అసోసియేషన్ and attending these kind of calls always helps us to remember. Slowly, Krishna is going to give. See, we know that verse, right? What is that? Remembrance. Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivisto. ఆయననే ఇస్తాడు. Yes. భగవంతుడే ఇస్తాడు రిమెంబరెన్స్, నాలెడ్జ్ అండ్ ఫర్గెట్ఫుల్నెస్. బట్ ఫర్గెట్ఫుల్నెస్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్లాంటి నాలెడ్జ్ ను ఫర్గెట్ఫుల్నెస్ ఇవాళ కృష్ణ ఎప్పుడు గుర్తుంచుకునేలా ఇవ్వాలి. You have to always prayer mode in that way.
That's what I'm praying, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please don't give forgetfulness. Give knowledge and remembrance to always remember you and know this knowledge. We have to be a prayer like that. We need to do that way. By regular doing, it will come. And these are all starting point for us. But slowly, Krishna is going to help us the remembering. Yeah. So we'll read this. The Perfection of Yoga by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It's a very old book. That's why that design also very nice. Very, very, very old. Actually, which year this one printed, I'll let you know. Only. Which year? First printing, second printing, printed in year.
First line.
1972. 1972 book is actually. Prabhupada witnessed this. He touched this book. He personally touched this book actually. Yeah. Hari Bol. Thank you very much again. The Perfection of Yoga. How beautiful Krishna's picture, So nice. So beautiful, It's black and white. The Perfection of Yoga. His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This was printed in New York, ISKCON Press. Okay. These are the contents is given, total 8 contents. Yoga as re-establishing relations with Krishna. Yoga as work in devotion. Yoga as so different. That is a Vaishnava Acharya. He is giving so nicely, the contents, how he chalked out, yoga. How can we understand yoga? Yoga is re-establishing relationship with Krishna. Yoga is work in devotion. Yoga is meditation on Krishna. Yoga is rejected by Arjuna. See, of course, Bhagavad Gita, these are all contents from Bhagavad Gita only. But in order to attract, a neophyte devotee cannot go directly with 700-page book of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So in order to give interest, in order to inculcate the interest in these people, Prabhupada special taken care of these writing small books so that they get attraction and start reading real scripture, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So here, from Bhagavad Gita only, but he's explaining in detail about what is exactly yoga means. Yoga, re-establishing relationship with Krishna. Yoga as work in devotion. Yoga as meditation on Krishna. Yoga is rejected by Arjuna. What kind of yoga rejected by Arjuna? Yoga is body and mind control. Yoga is freedom from duality and designation. The fate of unsuccessful yogi. The ultimately 8th chapter, the perfection of yoga. Okay, so let us read. Yeah, begin with the Mataji. Vendala Mataji, please start, Mata.
Chapter 1. Yoga as re-establishing relations with Krishna. We have heard many times of the yoga system. The yoga system is approved by Bhagavad Gita, but the yoga system in Bhagavad Gita is especially meant for purification. The aim is threefold: to control the senses, to purify activities, and link oneself to Krishna in reciprocal relationship. The absolute truth is realized in three stages: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and ultimately Bhagavan. The supreme personality of Godhead. In the final analysis, the supreme absolute truth is a person, and simultaneously he is all providing super soul within the hearts of all living entities and within the core of all atoms, and he is the Brahmajyoti, or the effulgence of the spiritual light as well. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is full of all opulence as the supreme personality of Godhead, but at the same time he is full of renunciation. In the material world, we find that one who has much opulence is not very much inclined to give it up, but Krishna is not like this. He can renounce everything and remain complete in himself. When we read or study Bhagavad Gita under a bona fide spiritual master, we should not think that the spiritual master is presenting his own opinions. It is not he who is speaking. He is just an instrument. The real speaker is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is both within and without. At the beginning of his discourse on the yoga system in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti ya sa sannyasi cha yoga cha na niragnir na chakriyaha. One who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no work. Bhagavad Gita 6.1. Everyone is working and expecting some result. One may ask, what is the purpose of working if no result is expected? A remuneration or salary is always demanded by the worker. But here Krishna indicates that one can work out of sense of duty alone, not expecting the results of his activities. If one works in this way, then he is called a sannyasi. He is in renounced order of life. According to the Vedic culture, there are 4 stages of life: Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. Brahmachari is student life devoted to training in spiritual understanding. Grihastha life is married householder life. Then upon reaching the approximate age of 50, one may take the Vanaprastha order, that is, he leaves home and children and travels with his wife to holy places of pilgrimage. Finally, he gives up both wife and children and remains alone to cultivate Krishna consciousness, and that stage is called sannyasa, or renounced order of life. Yet Krishna indicates that for a sannyasi, renunciation is not all. In addition, there must be some duty. What then is the duty of a sannyasi? For one who has renounced family life and no longer has material obligations, his duty is the most responsible one. It is to work for Krishna. Moreover, this is the real duty for everyone in all stages of life. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Yeah, let us give it to other ones. Thank you very much, Mataji, reading. So one point initially, the beauty of Srila Prabhupada. What is the yoga means? The aim of yoga, threefold. What is the yoga system? So Prabhupada, the first paragraph only is giving the definition of yoga system. What is that? To control the senses, to purify activities, and to link oneself to Krishna in a reciprocal relationship. That's called a yoga in a proper way of understanding. Linking, actually, yoga, the word meaning is linking ourselves to the Supreme. Linking process, yoga. So here, how beautifully writes Srila Prabhupada, controlling senses, purify our activities, and link oneself to Krishna in reciprocal this relationship. And he is giving the example of absolute truth can be realized in three forms: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti shabde. Brahman realization, localized Paramatma, Bhagavan realization. Many times we discuss, right? Sunshine, sun planet, and sun god. So that's what we have to understand. Sunshine is impersonal Brahman, Brahma Jyoti platform. Sun planet is called Paramatma. In each every planet, each and every atom, Krishna possesses as Paramatma, super soul. And the
Sunshine
ultimate.
is Paramatma, Prabhu, and sun globe is the Bhagavan.
What Mataji?
Sun globe, the sun itself is Bhagavan, and the sun globe is the Paramatma.
Paramatma, correct. Yes. Did I say wrong? Sorry.
Yes. I think you said sun is Paramatma.
Sorry. Okay, thank you for correcting. Nice. You need to be there in the call then. Haribol. Yes, correct. Sunshine is the Brahmajyoti platform. Sun planet is a Paramatma realization. In the sun planet, each and every atom, Krishna is there. That in the sun planet, for example, Krishna expanded. And then there is a sun god. Is a Bhagavan realization. Okay. So that's where is here described here. And the Prabhupada code specific verse from Bhagavad Gita 6.1. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya ya sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na chakriyaha. Everyone has to work, some material benefit, some result. One may ask, what is the purpose of working if no result is expected? Right? If we are working for a company, what are we expecting? Some salary, some money, right? So that is what here. One who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as is obliged in the renounced order of life, and he is a true mystic, not who lights no fire and performs no work. So Prabhupada writes here, but here Krishna indicates that one can work out of sense of duty alone, not expecting the results of his activities. If one works in this way, then he is actually a sannyas. He is the renounced order of life. Right? So what is saying, sense of duty, we have to work, not expecting any results. Results automatically come, but not that is not the target. As part of endeavor, we have to do our endeavor, and that way. So in the his activities, if one works in this way, then he's not actually a sannyasi. He is in the renounced order of life. Sense of duty. So there is one understanding. Sannyasi means a state of consciousness. Right? A state of consciousness. Of course, this 4 stages is given. Right? Each stage here explaining Srila Prabhupada. Student life, brahmachari life, grihastha life, married householder life, vanaprastha. After 50 years, it's called vanaprastha stage. Ultimately, sannyasi stage. So Prabhupada writes here, there is a finally he gives up both wife, children, and remains alone to cultivate Krishna consciousness. And that is called sannyasa, or the renounced order of life. Yet Krishna indicates that for a sannyasi, renunciation is not all. In addition, there must be some duty. Right? What is then the duty for a sannyasi? One who is renounced to family life, no longer has material obligation. His duty is most responsible one. It is to work for Krishna. So there is one beautiful song actually. Gruhe Thako, Vane Thako, Sada Hari Bole Thako. We have to work for Krishna. That's it. Whether you are situated in these ashrams, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. You have to work, right? What is that work? Either in that ashram, we just have to please Supreme Lord and working for him. We can be situated in any, of course, as designed the stages of life. But any stage, brahmachari means first 25 year old, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, that is different. Okay, brahmachari, first 25 years of student life. 25 years of education. You see, in our daily life also we see, right? 25 years of education we undergo, right? If in order to get a bachelor's degree, master's degree, 22, 23, 24 years, bachelor, 24 years of education, student life. Then a person got a job and enter into marriage, enter into growth life, and then continuing his life another 25 years working for the family and working for, to establish himself for financially, socially, economically, etc. And then another 25 years, it's called Vanaprasthashram, from 50 to 25 years, Vanaprasthashram. And at the end, 75 to whatever time left of Sannyasashram. But Vaishnavacharya written this song, Gruhetako, Vanetako, Sadahali, Hari, Boletako. Wherever you are, whatever stage you are in, Sada Hari Bole Thakur. Work for Krishna. That's what Prabhupada writes. Moreover, this is a real duty for everyone. What he is saying, see, Srila Prabhupada. Moreover, this is a real duty for everyone in all stages of life. Gruhe Thako, Vane Thako, Sada Hari Bole Thako. Yes, thank you very much. So, Samyukta Mataji, please continue. It's a big paragraph.
Prabhuji, doubt Prabhuji.
Yes.
ఫస్ట్ పారాలో 3 ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా ప్రభుజీ, ప్రాసెస్ ఆఫ్ యోగాలో. దాంట్లో 2 ప్యూరిఫై యాక్టివిటీస్ అన్నారు కదా ప్రభుజీ. యాక్టివిటీస్ అంటే రిలేటెడ్ టు డివోషనల్, రైట్ ప్రభుజీ? టు కంట్రోల్ ద సెన్సెస్, టు ప్యూరిఫై యాక్టివిటీస్ అండ్ టు లింక్ వన్ సెల్ఫ్ టు కృష్ణ.
Yes. Purify activities అంటే కృష్ణ సెంటర్డ్ యాక్టివిటీస్. జాబ్ అయినా, మనం తినే ఫుడ్ అయినా, మన డీలింగ్స్ అయినా, ఎట్సెట్రా. Purify our activities. Without activity, there is no living entity. Without activity is not there. మనం పడుకున్నా కూడా some activities are created. So we have to understand, Mataji, here purify our activities means Krishna centered activities, Krishna conscious activities. To purify, how can an activity purify? Many times we quote this, right? Prasadam. We take prasadam only, right? Every day. Other people, materialistic people, they won't take like that. They eat whatever they like. They won't acknowledge that this is come from Krishna like that. It's not a purified. It's a sinful. Actually, it's a sin. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, they eat only sin. They won't acknowledge. So, how can we purify these activities? By acknowledge the source is Krishna. These are all coming from Krishna. Like that. For job also. Yeah, Krishna has given this job. I have to use it for his service. Whatever I get the money, utilize for him, for spreading this knowledge, the helping temples, whatever way, whatever best of our capacities. Right? There is set forth some rules there. That way of purifying activities. Got the point, no?
Yes, Prabhuji. So whatever we are doing activities, we have to center Krishna. Then we have to do our
Krishna center. We have a family. We have children.
Yes.
So children, how can we give that? By giving Krishna to our children. By regularly. I mean, of course, they have material education that is there, that is required in order to live in this world. But still, we have to give the education of Krishna's education, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, different stories. So that is an activity to cultivate Krishna consciousness among our family members. So that is a purifying activity. Like that. Whatever, take any example, whether you come to satsang, that is an activity of Krishna, right? How you are coming from different place, from one place to one place, all the way from in the traffic and associating with devotees. That's a purifying activity, right? The time you spend from your home to coming to satsang is completely purified. Yeah, you have a goal, reach to satsang and spend some time with devotees. That's an activity using for Krishna. Simple to understand, an activity using for Krishna. That's it.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Read, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. In everyone's life, there are two duties. One is to serve the illusion and the other is to serve the reality. When one serves the reality, he is a real sannyasi. And when serves the illusion, he is deluded by Maya. One has to understand, however, that he is in all circumstances forced to serve. Either he serves the illusion or the reality. The constitutional position of the living entity is to be a servant, not a master. Everyone in the material world is a servant, no one is master. One may think that he is the master, but he is actually a servant. When one has a family, he may think that he is the master of his wife or his children or his home, business, and so on. But that is all false. One is actually the servant of his wife, of his children, and of his business. The president may be considered to be the master of the country, but actually, he is the servant of the country. Our position is always as servant, either as servant of the illusion or a servant of God. If, however, we remain the servant of the illusion, then our life is wasted. Of course, everyone is thinking that he is not a servant, that he is working only for himself. Although the fruits of his labor are transient and illusory, they force him to become a servant of illusion or a servant of his own senses. But when one awakens to his transcendental senses and actually becomes situated in knowledge, he then becomes a servant of the reality. When one comes to the platform of knowledge, he understands that in all circumstances he is a servant. Since it is not possible for him to be master, he he is much better situated serving the reality instead of the illusion. When one becomes aware of this, he attains the platform of real knowledge. By sannyasa, the renounced order of life, we refer to one who has come to this platform. Sannyasa is a question of realization, not social status. It is the duty of everyone to become Krishna conscious and to serve the cause of Krishna. When one actually realizes this, he becomes a Mahatma or a great soul. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that after many births, when one comes to the platform of real knowledge, he surrenders unto me. Why is this? Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. The wise man realizes that Vasudeva, Krishna, is everything. However, Krishna says that such a great soul is rarely found. Why is this? If an intelligent person comes to understand that the ultimate goal of life is to surrender unto Krishna, why should he hesitate? Why not surrender immediately? What is the point in waiting for so many births? When one comes to that point of surrender, he becomes a real sannyasi. Krishna never forces anyone to surrender unto him. Surrender is a result of love, transcendental love. Where there is force and where there is no freedom, there can be no love. When a mother loves a child, she is not forced to do so, nor does she do so out of expectation of some salary or remuneration. Shall I read, Prabhuji, or someone else?
You can read, but actually, just to add to 2 points
Yep.
here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So Prabhupada writes the entire this paragraph about the survivorship.
Yes.
We never ever become a master in the material world also. Prabhupada writes, either a person serving his family, wife, children, business, etc. President also, he may looks like master of the country, but is a servant of the country. Our position is always servant in both spiritual world and material world. We never ever become a master, period. So how can we understand that is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction. Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityada. We can understand in both worlds, material world and spiritual world. Prabhupada pointed out, the survivorship here. Okay, so that's one thing.
It's like if you don't serve GOD, you'll serve DOG.
EOD. Yeah, nice, right? Yes, Prabhupada writes. If you serve if you serve God, GOD, you serve DOG. Prabhupada specifically because he has seen in this America, everybody having a pet dogs, pet cats, etc. Pet parrots. They are serving their pet dogs. They are not serving God. Either you serve Maya or Krishna. That's a simple. That's where Prabhupada writes this. Either you serve Maya means you are in illusion. When you serve Krishna means you are in reality. See here, Prabhupada writes, right? So what is saying? It is not possible for him to master. He is much better situated, serving the reality instead of the illusion. When one becomes aware of this, he attains the platform of real knowledge. So we have to understand Jivara Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. That's the survivor mood. Always survivor. Actually, there is one more instruction. During our initiation, His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, our Guru Maharaj, we take a vow in front of him, like, like 14, what is it? Chant 16 rounds of, uh, chant 16 rounds on Japamala, and then following 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And the third one, especially, our Guru Maharaj disciples, we say that we serve in the Srila Prabhupada mission as a servant of, servant of, servant of, servant of, servant. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur, Dasa, 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 Dasa. I am servant of my devotees. Servant, 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 servant. I am servant of, servant of, servant. So we always have to be in servitude. That's our position. Service. So service, we see in the Tulsi Devi prayer. That is our adhikari. That is our position. Happy position, actually. Safest position. Seva adhikara, nije, koro nije, dasi, tulasi, Krishna prayasi, seva adhikara. What is the adhikara? In order to understand Krishna, in order to go to Krishna, because through the service, seva, Krishna is giving that service to understand him. We are serving him. That is our adhikari to possess him. Seva adhikara. Okay. So another thing here, another point here. It is the duty of everyone to become Krishna consciousness to serve the cause of Krishna. Vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself says that. Very rare. See, in this material world, we have discussed many times. How many of, this world, how many of people practicing real bhakti yoga? Very rare. There are 950 and close to 900, 9 billion people on this material earth, material world, in this universe, in this planet. But how many are there? Very rare. So surrender also, Prabhupada writes about it. Krishna never forces. Last lines we have to see. And example is given of mother and child in this material world. Krishna never forces a free will. How you use your free will is a matter. Krishna never forces anyone to surrender unto him. Surrender is a result of love, right? Transcendental love. Where there is force, where there is no freedom, there can be no love. So force, freedom. See, ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనం చాలాసార్లు చూస్తాం. గుర్రాన్ని ఒక నదీ తటం వరకు తీసుకెళ్తాం. తాగు 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 నీళ్ళని మనం మెడ మంచాం అనుకున్నాం, తాగదు. ఎందుకు తాగుతుంది? రిబెల్ నాకు దాహం వేసలేదు అని చెప్పి తాగదు. అంటే అక్కడి వరకు తీసుకెళ్లే వరకే బతుకుతుంది. బట్ అక్కడికి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత ఆ హంగర్ తీర్చుకోవాలంటే తనకు తానే వేయాలి. ఇక్కడ ఎట్లా అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి మనము? In order to understand our position, we have to show our love towards Krishna. And that's too not forcefully. Out of love. How can we get that out of love? With the knowledge. You can get that. So we have to understand. Surrender is a result of love. Surrender is a result of love. Where there is force, there is no freedom. There can be no love. Example is given, Srila. When a mother loves a child, she is not forced to do so. Nor does she do so out of expectation or some salary or remuneration, right? So in this material world, that is the best example many times. Srila Prabhupada writes, the motherly love. Motherly love is pure always. There's a pure love we see in this material world. Of course, in spiritual world is a reflection. Material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So here we have to understand how no force. Krishna conscious also, we cannot force anybody to take up this process. Out of love only, out of free will, they will practice. Even though we try as much as we can, but we cannot force anybody to chant holy names and practicing. It's their choice. Not this lifetime. Maybe another couple of lifetimes later they may practice. But our goal is to distribute this knowledge and help somebody. Somebody open-minded, and they wanted to understand the seriousness of life. They wanted to understand this knowledge. So every year we do this book distribution. Why we do? Because some souls benefited. It's our duty to do that. So here we have to understand, when we introduce to Krishna consciousness anybody, it's their choice whether they come to the platform, satsangs or reading. but we just have to try. Just have to give this proper knowledge. Somebody be interested and come to the platform, right? So that's out of love only. How can we do this? How can every day 2 hours of chanting, uh, uh, giving 2 hours of time to Krishna because of love, to showing our love towards Krishna. 24 hours he has given. Why don't you use for Krishna? This is an intelligent question. Intelligence one has to ask ourselves. He has given 24 hours. Nicely, 8 to 9 hours of sleep is giving. And remaining hours, why don't we use the 2 hours of japa time for Krishna? So we have to show our love. That way, it's ever increasing actually. Love is a limited thing. Love is eternally expanding actually. So that's the result of love. Then one can practice, not forcefully or capturing his freedom. That's why using our free will in Krishna service, simple to understand. Read this paragraph also, Mataji. Then otherwise I'll give it to other. Okay, sure, Mataji. Thank you. Swapna Mataji, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Similarly, we can love the Supreme Lord in so many ways. We can love Him as master, as friend, as child, or as husband. There are 5 basic rasas or relationships in which we are eternally related to God. When we are actually in the liberated stage of knowledge, we can understand that our relationship with the Lord is in a particular rasa. That platform is called Swarupa Siddhi or real self-realization. Everyone has an eternal relationship with the Lord, either as a master and servant, friend, or parent or child, husband and wife, or lover and beloved. These relationships are eternally present. The whole process of spiritual realization and the actual perfection of yoga is to revive our consciousness of this relationship. At present, our relationship with the Supreme Lord is pervertedly reflected in this material world. In the material world, the relationship between master and the servant is based on money or force or exploitation. There is no question of service out of love. The relationship between master and servant, pervertedly reflected, continues only for so long as a master can pay the servant. As soon as the payment stops, the relationship also stops. Similarly, in the material world, there may be a relationship between friends, but as soon as there is a slight disagreement, the friendship breaks and the friend becomes an enemy. When there is a difference of opinion between sons and parents, and the son leaves home and the relationship is severe. The same with husband and wife, a slight difference of opinion and there is a divorce. No relationship in this material world is actual and eternal. We must always remember that these ephemeral relationships are simply perverted reflections of that eternal relationship that we have with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have experienced that the reflection of an object in a glass is not real. It may appear real, but when we go to touch it, we find that there is only glass. We must come to understand that these relationships as friend, parent, child, master, servant, husband, wife, or lover are simply reflections of that relationship that we have with God. When we come to this platform of understanding, then we are perfect in knowledge. When that knowledge comes, we begin to understand that we are servants of Krishna and that we have an eternal love relationship with Him. In this
Hare
love, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Prabhupada writes, the service can be experienced. Service only, the relationships there, rasas there, different rasas there. The service can be experienced through those relationships. Krishna is the master. So he's the only master. We have to understand. We always have to be a servant. That servitorship, the service, can be experienced through these relationships, right? 5 rasas. Samyukta Mata, you can say that. What are the 5 rasas?
Yes, Prabhuji. Shantarasa, Madhurya Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa,
Sequence.
Sakya Rasa.
There is sequence, Matadi. We have to learn in a sequence. Madhurya is the last, 5th one. That is topmost. Kalpakandi. So, Shanta. Next.
Shanta. Vatsalya, Prabhuji.
Shanta, Dasya.
Vatsalya, Sakya, Madhurya.
Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya.
Madhurya, okay.
It's the relationship, see, Shanta Rasa, neutral relationship. How can we understand? Peacock feather serving Krishna. That is a neutral understanding. That is a serving Krishna in that way. Bed, Ananta Shesha, the big, Karna ocean. Pala Samudram Pena, Sheshanaga, Sheshanaga, Balaram. But actually, is serving Shantarasha. Krishna's whatever active, whatever the objects, that is one thing. Second thing, Shanta Tarvada, Dasya. Dasya and servant, servitorship. Then Sakya, friendship. Little further, parental, Vatsalya. And topmost, conjugal love, lover and beloved, loving relationship, Madhurya Rasa. So in those rasas, we can experience the service. The service experience to these relationships. Right. So ultimately, Prabhupada writes in this line, see, last line, when that knowledge comes, what is that knowledge? Our establishing relationship with Krishna. Dormant, it's dormant in our right now condition. What kind of relationship we had when we were in spiritual world. But that Swarupa Siddhi, that means the relationship can be achieved after, going back to Godhead, after serving, after purifying ourselves. That Swarupa Siddhi, that position, nobody can fill. Only we have to fill. That each living entity is a unique. Each living entity is unique. That position, the Swarupa Siddhi, the relationship with Krishna, that particular living entity only can be able to fill. No other. That means our spot is already reserved. So when that knowledge comes, we begin to understand that we are servants of Krishna, and that we have an eternal love relationship with him. Through that, we exchange love between Krishna and ourselves with those rasas. Right here we see, we must come to understand that these relationships as friend, parent, child, master are simply reflections of that relationship that we have with God. That's what it is. Understanding is. So the practice of this bhakti yoga ultimately reveals us Swarupa Siddhi over time, after purifying, after complete purification. We can understand, we can get that, oh, I served Krishna in this relationship. But at this covered stage, at this point, we are not there yet. After gradual progression, after complete purification, Krishna only reveals us that, you got this. You served me like this form. Krishna only reveals pure devotees, after complete purification. Yes. Yeah. Likita Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna. In this love relationship, there is no question of remuneration. But of course, remuneration is there, and it is much greater than whatever we earn here through the rendering of service. There is no limit of Sri Krishna's remuneration. In this connection, there is there is the story of Bali Maharaja, a very powerful king who conquered a number of planets. The citizens of the denizens of the heavenly planets appealed to the Supreme Lord to save them, for they had been conquered by the demonic king Bali Maharaja. Upon hearing their pleas, Sri Krishna took the shape of a dwarf Brahmana boy and approached Bali Maharaja, saying, "My dear king, I would like something from you. You are a great monarch and are renowned for giving in charity to the Brahmanas. So, would you give me something?" Bali Maharaj said, "I will give you what you want. I simply want whatever land I can cover in 3 steps." The boy said, "Oh, is that all?" The king replied, And what will you do with such a small piece of land? Though it may be small, it, it will suffice me. The boy smiled. Bali Maharaj agreed, and the boy dwarf took 2 steps and covered the entire universe. He then asked Bali Maharaj where he was going to take the third step, his third step, and Bali Maharaj, understanding that the Supreme Lord was showing him his favor, replied, "My dear Lord, I have now lost everything. I have no other property, but I do have my head. Would you so kindly step there?" Lord Sri Krishna was then very much pleased with Bali Maharaj and he asked, "What would you like from me? I never expected anything from you," Bali Maharaj said. "But I understand that you wanted something from me, and now I offered you everything." Yes, the Lord said, "But from my side, I have something for you. I shall remain always as an order carrier servant in your court." In his way, the Lord became Bali Maharaj's doorman, and that was his return. If we offer something to the Lord, it is returned millions of times. But we should not expect this. The Lord is always eager to return the service of his servant. Whoever thinks that the service of Lord is actually his duty is perfect in knowledge and has attained the perfection of yoga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So devotees purchase Krishna. That's why we have to understand. Krishna becomes servant of his devotees. How can we understand? It's a high statement. When he becomes servant of his devotees, by looking at this example, Bali Maharaj and Bali Maharaj and what is that? What, what is this? Krishna Vamandev, right? Trivikrama. Another name of Vamandev is Trivikrama. Trivikrama. So that's the thing. So devotional life is so beautiful. Understand, best example is, we see how he accepted a position of charity driver. He's a supreme Lord. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But he accepted as a charity driver of Arjuna. Right? So he's serving. He's serving his devotees. Krishna is serving. In the battlefield, he's running, Rathasaradi. This place. And you know how that the directions, like this way you have to take Krishna, that way you have to take Krishna in the battlefield. In the signs, there is no time actually with the feet, that thumbnail, the thumb is directing that touching, Krishna's body, Supreme Lord. How can we understand this? He accepted a so humble position. So that's what we have to see this. Krishna is going to be servant of his devotees. And we see many examples actually, in the pastimes of pure devotees. Krishna personally come and cook, Radharani personally come and cook, and these things, these pastimes there. Because this is called eternal love. They always, this is what it is. Krishna also expecting from us, all of us, right? Manmanava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mamai vaisa satyam te pratijane priyosame. Bhagavad Gita, every time I remember this verse, these 2 verses. 2 times Krishna is emphasizing. First we have to servant of Krishna and purify ourselves. Always think about Krishna, never forgets. Manmanava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mamai vaisa yuktvavam atmanam matparayana. 9th chapter and 18th chapter, same verse, little different, but the meaning is same. Always think of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you, because you are my very dear friend. Krishna is emphasis. Krishna is like, in our corporate circle, we say that this is awards like pat on the back. Pat on the back. That means, oh yeah, you did good job. Bhujam mida charodhan. Yes, nice, so good. You achieved this task within time, with limited budget, stipulated time, like that. So Krishna is giving pat on the back verses, promising verses actually. So pure devotee's consciousness is that is expecting. Always think about Krishna, never forget him. Always servitude mode. Always service. Krishna service. Krishna's service can be understood. For example, satsang is there. From cleaning pots, from cleaning, floor, setting up the nice, devotees bed sheets for to sit on that, for example. Different services there. And the ISKCON, in our movement, we are trained to become servant of Krishna, servant of our Guru, servant of devotees, so that we develop love for Krishna through service only, right? How can we develop love for Krishna? Through service. We did 14 days of Kartik Damodar Mass, 14 days of service. It's a service, trying to remember his instructions from different prayers. That pleases a lot, actually. We are, even though some verses we won't be able to understand, but at least we read, at least we gone through the mantras. Everything is a mantra, actually. Manastrayate iti mantra, to deliver our mind, clutches of this illusion, Maya. That's a power of mantras there. Different prayers we have gone through, right? Chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, Bhishma Stuti prayers, Gajendra prayers, and then Gopi Gita prayers. All directs to Bhakti Yoga again. Again, Bhakti Yoga means service, devotions. Prabhupada writes, right? Devotional service. Not just put in just devotion, bhakti. Bhakti Yukta Seva. Bhakti to kodukunnatuvanti seva. Prabhupada writes devotional service. Without service, there is no question of bhakti. Service. We have to do service. So that's what it is. Another 15 minutes. We will wrap up by 8 o'clock only today. Let us maintain proper time. For myself, I'm speaking. Connect at 6:30 and please join on time so that we can complete by 8 o'clock. You all have families and children. You need to take care of that. So let us spend some more time, and then by 8 o'clock we will wrap. Another 15 minutes. Second section now. First section we all remember now. What is that first section? Re-establishing relationship with Krishna. What are the relationships? A relationship, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Ultimate take home point of this. Through the service, Krishna reveals us the Sarupa Siddhi. Okay. So next one, yoga as work in devotion. Yeah, we all read once now. So again, Venala Mataji, please begin. Couple of paragraphs.
Chapter 2, Yoga as Work in Devotion. We have heard the names of so many different yogas and yogis, but in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that he is the actual yogi who has surrendered himself fully unto me. Krishna proclaims that there is no difference between renunciation and yoga. Yam sannyasam iti prahur yogam tam vidhi pandava nahi asanyasta asankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. What is renunciation is the same as yoga or linking oneself with the Supreme. For no one can become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Bhagavad Gita 6.2. In Bhagavad Gita, there are three types of yoga delineated: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. The systems of yoga may be linked down to a staircase. Sometimes someone may be on the first step, someone may be halfway up, or someone may be on the top step. When one is elevated to certain levels, he is known as Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, etc. In all cases, the service to the Supreme Lord is the same. It is a difference in elevation only. Thus, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that he must understand that renunciation, sannyasa, and yoga are the same, because without being freed from desire and sense gratification, one cannot become neither a yogi nor a sannyasi. There are some yogis who perform yoga for a profit, but that is not real yoga. Everything must be engaged in service of the Lord. Whatever we do as an ordinary worker, or as a sannyasi, or as a yogi, as a philosopher, must be done in Krishna consciousness. When we are absorbed in the thought of serving Krishna, and when we act in that consciousness, we become real sannyasis and real yogis. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Mhm. Krishna says, how this is what this chapter talks about yoga as work in devotion. How can we understand? Prabhupada is going to explain, right? So the different yoga system there: karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, and bhakti yoga. Certain levels of elevation only. Certain levels of elevation, the consciousness of elevation actually. So this point, so very much important point. Yoga is what is that Arjuna that said. Yoga are the same because without being freed from desire and sense gratification, one can become neither a yogi nor a sannyasi. So materialistic sense gratification means materialistic way of life. Ahara nidra bhayamaitanamcha. And desire, material desires, wanting to lord it over material nature. Some profit. There are some yogis who perform yoga for profit, but that is not real yoga. It's a business yoga actually. So business means profit. Business yoga. Everything must be engaged in the service of the Lord. Whatever we do as an ordinary worker, as a sannyasi or yogi, philosopher, must be done in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness means in thought of Krishna. When we are absorbed in the thought of serving Krishna, then we act in that consciousness. We can become real sannyasis and real yogis. So how beautiful explaining, no, our Acharya. When we are absorbed in the thought of serving Krishna, and when we act in that consciousness, we can become real sannyasis and real yogis. So now we are practicing bhakti yoga. We got the proper understanding. We are actually real yogis, real sannyasis. Sannyasis means again desire and sense gratification, freed from desire and sense gratification. Okay, yeah. Thank you again, Vanilla Mataji. I think Lakshmi Mataji, you joined. Could you please read Mataji? Thank
Yes,
you for joining.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
How are you, Mataji? How is everything?
I'm fine, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. I'm all good.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those who are taking the first step up this staircase of the yoga system, there is work. One should not think that simply because he is beginning yoga, he should stop working. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asked Arjuna to become a yogi, but he never tells him to cease from fighting. Quite the contrary. Of course, one may ask how a person may be a yogi and at the same time a warrior. Our conception of yoga practice is that of sitting very straight with legs crossed and eyes half crossed, starting at the tip of our nose and concentrating in this way in a lonely place. So how is it that Krishna is asking Arjuna to become a yogi and at the same time practice in a ghastly civil war? That is the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. One can remain a fighting man and at the same time be the highest yogi, the highest sannyasi. How is this possible? In Krishna consciousness, how is this possible in Krishna consciousness? One simply has to fight for Krishna, work for Krishna, eat for Krishna, sleep for Krishna, and dedicate all activities to Krishna. In this way, one becomes the highest yogi and the highest sannyasi. That is the secret. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna instructs Arjuna how to perform meditational yoga, but Arjuna rejects this as too difficult. How then is Arjuna considered to be a great yogi? Although Krishna saw that Arjuna was rejecting the meditational system, he proclaimed Arjuna to be the highest yogi because you are always thinking of me. Thinking of Krishna is the essence of all yoga systems. Of the Hatha, Karma, Gnana, Bhakti, or any other system of yoga, sacrifice, or charity. All the recommended activities for spiritual realization end in Krishna consciousness, in thinking always of Krishna. The actual perfection of human life lies in being always Krishna conscious and always being aware of Krishna while performing all types of activities. In the preliminary stage, one is advised to always work for Krishna One must be always searching for searching
Yeah, searching out.
searching out some duty or some engagement, for it is a bad policy to remain ideal even for a second. When one actually becomes advanced through such engagements, then he may not work physically, but he is always engaged within by constantly thinking of Krishna. In the preliminary stage, however, one is always advised to engage one's senses in the service of Krishna. There are a variety of activities one can perform in serving Krishna. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is intended to help direct aspirant devotees in these activities. For those working in Krishna consciousness, there are simply not enough hours in the day to serve Krishna. There are always activities, engagements, both day and night, which the student of Krishna consciousness performs joyfully. That is the stage of real happiness. Constant engagement for Krishna and spreading Krishna consciousness around the world. In the material world, one may become very tired if he works all the time. But if one works in Krishna consciousness, he can chant Hare Krishna and engage in devotional service 24 hours a day and never get tired. But if we vibrate some mundane active vibration, then we soon become exhausted. There is no question of becoming tired on the spiritual platform. The spiritual platform is absolute. In the material world, everyone is working for sense gratification. The profits of one's labor in the material world are used to gratify one's senses. But a real yogi doesn't desire such fruits. He has no desire other than Krishna, and Krishna is already there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reading. How can we understand this? I have one for you all. This one. Read again, Mataji.
Has to one in Krishna consciousness, one simply has to fight for Krishna, work for Krishna, eat for Krishna, sleep for Krishna, and dedicate all activities to Krishna.
You want to add anything, Lakshmi Mataji?
My thinking is like, my understanding is like, we need to remember him in whatever we do from day to night, Prabhuji.
Correct. Sleep.
Even sleep, we may get him in dreams.
Yeah, see, in sleep also, we get dreams because our mind is working.
Okay, yeah.
So in order, when we dedicate time, when we do all Krishna conscious activities, we get nice dreams. That is also a service, right? Sleep for Krishna, that means Krishna is going to give some nice dreams, remembering Krishna or devotees, some good activities in the sleep. Right? In the sleep, in that consciousness also become Krishna consciousness. See, of course, there are three kinds of states: wakeful state. What is that? Shushupti. There is three things. Actually, three things. I couldn't remember immediately. That one. There are three kinds of consciousness: Jagruti, Sushupti, Nidravastha, or Samadhi, something like that.
Yes, Prabhu. Third one is deep sleep.
Four, Mataji?
Three ఉన్నాయి. Third అయితే deep sleep. One is wakefulness, one is dreaming, I think.
Yes. Jagruti, Sushupti, and Nidravastha, I think. Correct, no?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. Three kinds of states. So Jagruti means wakeful state, from morning after we woke up from the bed until we go to bed. It's a Jagruti state. Jagruti, Sushupti, and little Jagruti, Sushupti, and Nidra. The Nidra means we are not aware of that what's going on. Because we completely slept. Forgetfulness. I mean, we completely think about it. That is the mechanisms of the body. How dreams come. We sleep every day, right? And we woke up in the mornings. So see how in forgetfulness we completely forget, and but mind is working, get the dreams, etc. That's another thing. Jagruti, Sushupti, and Nidra. that way.
Nidravastha, Prabhuji.
Mataji?
Nidravastha. Jagruti, Shushupti, Nidravastha.
Yeah. Jagruti, Sushupti, Nidravastha.
Yeah,
Correct.
సార్లు చెప్పారు ప్రభుజీ.
Yes, Jagruti, Sushupti, Nidravastha. Three kinds of states.
Sorry, Prabhu, it's actually Jagrati, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiya.
Hora, Mataji?
Prabhu?
Mali చెప్పండి.
Jagrati, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiya, Prabhu.
What is that one? Last one?
Turiya. T-U-R-Y-A. I'll send the link, Prabhu, in the group.
Okay. But actually, 3A, as per my understanding, అదేందో చూద్దాం, పంపియండి మాత చూస్తా. So yes, Swapna Avastha. Swapna Avastha means that's where dreamful states. Jagruti, Swapna, Nidra Avastha. Nidra Avastha means deep sleep. We forgetfulness of our body, deep sleep. Swapna, dreaming state. Some kind of awareness, some kind of wakeful state, but not completely. Nidravastha means complete forgetfulness, deep sleep. We won't get any dreams. That's it. But Jagriti means till morning, after woke up from the bed until we go to bed. Jagriti, state of consciousness. I'll check that Turiya kind of thing. I think, let me see that one. But these three are, you have to understand. In all these states of consciousness, we can feel Krishna conscious activities. That's where Prabhupada writes, we work for Krishna, eat for Krishna, sleep for Krishna, dedicate all activities to Krishna. So ultimately, this chapter talks about the work in devotion. Work in devotion. A small chapter, and this is done also. And as per our discussion today, we'll stop up till 8 o'clock. It's done 8 o'clock. Anybody have any questions or to share anything, please add, and then we'll wrap up this call. Meditate upon Krishna with, is it, what is it?
Hello.
Hare Krishna. What is this? I'm just pointing.
Dear Prabhuji. Jinka.
Hello. Huh?
Jinka, Prabhuji. Jinka.
అట్లా కనిపిస్తుంది మరి జింక లాగా. Of course, జింక is also
Cow. Okay. Cow.
Cow only, Mataji. Cow. It looks like జింక. మనకు చూడండి, నాకు కూడా
కాఫ్ అయి ఉండొచ్చు. కృష్ణ కాబట్టి కాఫ్ అయి ఉండొచ్చు.
అదే జింక, monkeys, it's there. When Krishna is there means every living entity surrendered. Everything comes under the lotus feet comes. That's okay. Yeah, this is a cow only. Yes. I always says to my kids, whenever we go to bed, sleep with Krishna, with nice flute sound, night good postures and cows there, flute sound, gopis there, nice lunch boxes, and nice sky, beautiful sky, nice weather. Meditate upon this and go to bed. I'll say that to my kids. So you also think about, we see pictures, right? So these kinds of meditations help us to remember Krishna. That also is good thing. So we have to observe. See, absorption is a great word actually. Absorption. How we absorb in Krishna's thoughts, important. Absorb. Remember. Think. All these activities. See, basically mind only, actually, devotees. In this material world, mind is the cause of everything, actually. Mind only creates all these problems. Mind is a stealer in our body. Either we use it for right purpose or something else. Something sensual activities, sense gratification, etc. In order to train mind, we need these teachings of Krishna. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramadi balavadrudam. The mind's nature is explained by Arjuna. He's a great warrior. Savyasachi, there is a name, Savyasachi. He can shoot arrows from both hands so perfectly. But still, in that kind of personality also, he is unable to control the tolerate mind because of the థింకింగ్ సో మెనీ అదర్ థింగ్స్. అర్జున్కి అట్లా ఉంటే మనస్థితి ఎక్కడ ఉంది? అందుకే మన్మనాభవం ఆల్వేస్ ఎంగేజ్ ఇన్ కృష్ణ సర్వీస్. ద మైండ్ కెన్ బి సబ్డ్యూడ్. ఒకసారి వరకు కొంతకాలం వరకు అది ప్రాబ్లం ఇస్తుంది, తర్వాత ట్రైన్ అయిపోతుంది. దట్స్ వేర్ ద జప ఈజ్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ టు డూ an activity to control our senses, especially the mind. The stealer can become friend over time. The stealer of different thoughts. Stealing. I'm not able to concentrate on Krishna. I'm concentrating on some other things. It's a stealer. So let us practice, let us read Srila Prabhupada books. This is the knowledge. With that knowledge, we get that understanding and we practice nicely. Right? We understand Krishna by Srila Prabhupada books. And he is an eternal father, he is an eternal friend. He is always there to help us. If a sincere soul surrender to Krishna, come to the platform of Krishna to understand him, one step if we put forward into Krishna consciousness life, Krishna consciousness path, he will push us another 100 steps. Chalo, come, understand. We give that. So thank you very much. I won't want to take any much time. So let us continue on Wednesday this book. Let us go to the other section. The section talks about yoga as meditation on Krishna. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Prabhujis and Matajis. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः।
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि.
हरि बोल।
समित्र माताजी, वंदना माताजी, लक्ष्मी माताजी, लिखित.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
हरि
Hare
बोल.
Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.